Hello, I'm Dean Irvin of the Asian Development Bank Institute. Asia's economic rise has been built on trade, but with the global trading system undergoing structural transformation, how can the region grow and become more resilient? And could digital trade define Asia and the Pacific's next phase of integration? Joining me to discuss these issues is ADBI Fellow Sayuri Shirai. Shirai-san, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
For context, could you briefly describe what's the current landscape of trade and economic integration in Asia? And what are the factors that have most affected it in the last decade or so?
So over this decade, Asian integration is deepening very fast, both in terms of size and quality. It is true, still Asian economic integration is based on production network, and that is a center of intra-Asian trade, which is driven mainly by intermediate goods transaction, and the final demand still largely external, such as the United States and Europe. China remains most important source of production location. At the same time, over these 10 years, many things are happening. For example, since 2018 and 19, under the first Mr. Trump's presidency, they started to increase the US tariff measures. And that helped to accelerate China plus one adjustment and the incremental reallocation, rerouting within Asia, mainly ASEAN. And since last year, under Mr. Trump's second presidency and more geopolitical tension and tariff nationalism, trade policy is increasingly used as an industrial strategy and national security policy, pushing various firms toward more diversified, multi-hub, and risk-aware supply chains. At the same time, it seems to me that China is becoming an important source of final demand in addition to the United States and Europe. So final demand means there are more Asian household consumption and capital spending in Asia. One challenge is that despite the growing number of free trade arrangements across Asia, there is an implementation gap. It's because to get a very low zero tariff preferential arrangement, the company needs to provide, adequate data, for example, related to rule of origin. So that makes it a lot of administrative burden. So many small, medium enterprises do not use such kind of opportunity.
Let's move on to digital trade. Why is it becoming so important now and reshaping markets?
Yes. So digital trade usually means, according to IMF OECD global definition, there are two international transactions related. So one is a digitally ordered trade, such as e-commerce type ordering, and data is relatively easier to capture. The other one is a digitally delivered transaction. So delivery happens remotely over network, such as software development, cloud computing, data processing, and various business services like accounting and financial services delivered online. Now, this second part, digitally delivered data, is not very easy to get at this moment. So it's very difficult to find out what's happening right now. But we all know there's a rapid development in this area, digitally delivered. So because of this digital trade, it is reshaping market access. So company can sell those services cross-border with far less physical presence. And it is also affecting the country's competitiveness. If the country can work on the speed and data and trust and payment interoperability across Asia, it really enhanced the country's competitiveness and helps their companies. So now I think we are seeing different stage of competitiveness as a result of a growing digital trade.
And what, in your view, are the key trends, perhaps the growth in
Mhm.
digital services or digital
Yes,
payments, that are or will be driving digital
yes.
trade in Asia and the Pacific?
Yes. Let me highlight four issues related to digitally delivered services. the export are actually growing much faster than import. So Asia is facing the widening surplus. And the first point is India play very important role as a major digitally delivered services exporter. And in the past, they have been providing various ICT services to the United States and Europe, and especially in the area of like data center um, um, and telephone center and various customer services. But now they are upgrading the quality of ICT services and by establishing a global capability center, it's called GCC, by inviting very high-tech, big tech company from advanced country like United States, and they are also upgrading their education to develop high-quality IT services expert. So, India is rapidly upgrading their level of services by accepting more foreign companies, but also domestically, they are improving the quality of education and the services and infrastructure. So India is definitely the major exporter. The second point is that within ASEAN as a region, they are also trying to promote a digital economy framework agreement. So what they do is within ASEAN, they try to have a basic ruling related to, how to promote basic understanding related to privacy and protection, more reliable data, data flow, and then this will be a basic for the digital trade promotion. They need certain agreement within the region. So that is what ASEAN is doing. The third fact is that ASEAN China FTA, now they have a FTA 3.0. And so now they started to focus not only just trading goods and services, but then now they started to discuss about how to simplify the customs system and promote e-invoice system. The final point is that interoperable digital payment is becoming a very important connective infrastructure in Asia. So Asia is now building cross-border connectivity by linking the domestic fast payment system and QR standard, such as India's UPI, Singapore Pay Now, Thai Prompt Pay, Malaysia's Do It Now. Those are now started to connect to each other. So this will really help small and medium enterprises to do businesses cross-border, and limiting money is much easier and real time and at low cost.
You mentioned India there as one of the
Yes.
main exporters of
Mhm.
digital services in the region. Do you see a pathway for any other economies in Asia and the Pacific to follow India's lead?
So I think India is doing remarkable things, because what they do is, they try to promote digital ID. It's called Aadhaar. So almost everybody have a digital ID that enable everybody to have access to the bank account. And then instant payment based on this, the country-based UPI system. So it's really reducing inequality, and try to promote, informal sector to expand their businesses. So that is really good. So this digital payment is helping, and then this create a transaction history, so which improve the small medium enterprises access to credit. So that is good. But what is remaining? What are the remaining issue on this area is, so people can use those services, but they still need to improve the capacity and the skill of small medium enterprises and people. Because, for example, if we want to do a digital trade and digital payment, they need to follow certain rule related to electronic invoicing compliance, certain platform management, data literacy, how to cope with cybersecurity awareness. So still, in order to make their businesses more reliable, I think each country needs to provide more skill and capacity building for smaller companies and people. The second point is that even though they are enjoying this digitization, in general, there is a platformers which tends to favor the large companies compared to small companies. So they control algorithm and they capture the data, extract fee, and they tend to provide more preferential arrangements to the large sellers. So small and micro firms may be in a disadvantaged position. So that area, I think a country have to check. One more issue, as I mentioned, in order to promote digital trade and digital payment, data is important. So some kind of some common agreement about data and the tax system trust related to data is important. And a small company, they usually feel this is a very large compliance cost, so they may be discouraged to do it. So how to promote those small company and micro company to comply with those kind of requirement is one challenge.
So if policymakers in the region could prioritize just one or two reforms, what should they focus on?
In terms of policy makers, they can prioritize 2 or 3 reforms. This has to start do it over time. So priority number 1 is make existing integration usable. Implementation gaps are there because of administration costs, uneven capacity across company and compliance burden. So there might be some regulation, but it's not fully utilized. How can they reduce administrative burden for the smaller and micro companies? That is a starting point. For example, as I mentioned at the beginning, there is a lot of free trade agreement within Asia, like RCEP, but like CPTPP. But in smaller companies do not use it because of the administration costs. So how to reduce burden using the digitalization is most important thing. The second priority is build interoperable low-cost cross-border payment. So linking fast payment system and QR standard already started to happen, and they need to do much more and try to reduce friction for a micro and small company. And this also helps tourism and micro transaction and directly supporting digital trade adaptation. So right now we see the trend. So let's try to include more countries in the Asia to do this, low-cost fast payment system and cross-border QR standard. Finally, Asia needs to agree on practical regional rules for data governance and try to avoid fragmentation in terms of data treatment. So, interoperability and related to privacy protection, cybersecurity standard, and predictable cross-border data condition. Those are the most important, and that's why we need to discuss in the region. And I think ADBI also can help to promote this trend.
Thank you, Shirai-san. Some very solid recommendations and potential ways forward there to expand this area of digital trade in the region and integration. Thank you very much for joining this episode.
Thank you very much.